Welcome to Breakup Cheater, the channel where lies unravel, secrets surface, and cheaters face the cold truth. If you've ever been betrayed, or just love watching karma catch up, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into today's story of love gone wrong. Connections thrive on faith. At least that's what I used to believe. For years, I genuinely thought that was the foundation of our bond. That invisible thread of trust that let us move through life together side by side with honesty and openness. I believed we had that. I believed she and I had that. We shared everything, our dreams, our doubts, our small daily joys, or so I thought. But all it took was one seemingly ordinary Sunday to dismantle that belief completely. Sundays were our day. We'd linger over brunch, go for long walks, maybe binge watch a show. Nothing extravagant, just the quiet comfort of togetherness. That afternoon, she told me she was catching up with a friend over coffee. Her tone was light, breezy. "It's just Lena," she'd said, grabbing her bag with that familiar half-smile. I didn't question it. She had her own life, her own friends. I never wanted to be the kind of partner who hovered or clung too tightly. I trusted her. That was the cornerstone of everything. Faith in her, in us. But as the hours passed, something began to gnaw at me. Subtle at first, a flicker of unease. Lena wasn't the kind of person to go dark for long. She was usually quick to respond, especially on a lazy afternoon like this. Yet every message I sent sat there, unread. One tick, then nothing. Called once. Straight to voicemail. I told myself I was overthinking it. That I was being paranoid. But the silence. It wasn't just quiet, it was off. A nagging weight pressed in on me. The kind you feel in your chest when something's not quite right but you can't prove it yet. Around 4 p.m. I decided to get some air. There's a little cafe just a few blocks away. One we both loved. We'd spent countless mornings there curled up in the corner booth, sipping lattes and watching the world drift by. I wasn't expecting anything. I just needed to clear my head. But as I turned the corner and glanced through the cafe window, the world as I knew it shifted. She was there. Not alone. Not with Lena. She sat in our booth, laughing at something the man across from her had just said. They looked at ease, their conversation natural, fluid, intimate. Her hand rested on the table, and his hovered just close enough that their fingers nearly touched. The space between them was charged. Subtle but unmistakable. It wasn't friendship. It wasn't casual. For a second I just stood there, my heart pounding in my ears. Maybe it's nothing, I tried to tell myself. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. But then I saw her expression, the way she leaned forward, her eyes lit with that warm sparkle I hadn't seen directed at me in what felt like ages. And her smile, it wasn't polite. It wasn't neutral. It was the kind of smile you give someone who means something more. I walked in. At first she didn't notice me. She was too absorbed in him. Too absorbed in whatever world they'd created without me. But then her eyes met mine. The laughter died instantly. Her face twisted, not with guilt or shock but irritation. "Hey," I said, my voice low but steady. "What's happening here?" The guy looked like he wanted to disappear. His gaze darted between us. She, on the other hand, didn't miss a beat. "What are you doing here?" she snapped, like I'd interrupted her lunch break. "I could ask you the same," I replied, gesturing to the table. "You told me you were with Lena." She shrugged like it didn't matter. "Plans changed. And you didn't think to tell me." "I didn't think I had to. It's just coffee." I looked at the man. He was suddenly very interested in collecting his things. "Who is he?" I asked. Before she could answer, he mumbled, "I should probably go." "No," I said firmly, my frustration bubbling to the surface. "Faye, I want to know who you are." "He's a friend," she said quickly, almost too quickly. "Really?" I raised a brow. "Because this doesn't feel like just friends." And then she did something that cut deeper than I was ready for. She smirked. A condescending, dismissive smirk. Not embarrassed. Not apologetic. Just smug. "You're being dramatic," she said, leaning back like none of this mattered. "Dramatic?" That word hit me like a slap. It boiled the pain, the confusion, the betrayal into one explosive reaction. Dramatic. I echoed, my voice rising. I walk in on you lying about who you're with, clearly being more than just friends. And I'm the dramatic one? She rolled her eyes like I was some child throwing a tantrum. It's just coffee. You're blowing this out of proportion. But it wasn't just coffee. It was the lies. The secrecy. The way she looked at him like I was a ghost. It was everything that had been happening behind my back while I still believed we were standing on solid ground. Is this the first time? I asked, quieter now. Something in her face flickered. Just a second, a crack in her mask. Enough. That's none of your business, she said, her tone ice cold. And that was it. The truth was already written in the silence between her words. I felt something shift in me. I'd been so desperate to believe we were okay, that the faith I had in her was justified. But it wasn't. She'd made her choice long before I walked into that cafe. You're right, I said, stepping back. It's not my business anymore. Her eyes widened just a little. What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm done. You're seriously walking away because of this? She called out as I turned toward the door. Pause. Look back one final time. No. I'm walking away because you don't respect me. And I'm not staying with someone who doesn't value honesty or loyalty. She didn't follow me. Didn't apologize. She just sat there, smirking like none of it mattered. The days that followed were brutal. I replayed that moment 1,000 times, questioning myself, wondering if I should have handled it differently. If I should have fought harder. But in truth, the fight had ended long before I even knew it started. Leaving her wasn't easy. It wasn't clean. But it was right. Because I deserve someone who doesn't treat my trust like a burden. Someone who values truth over comfort, loyalty over convenience. And now, for the first time in what feels like forever, I'm finally walking toward something better. Toward peace. Toward self-respect. Toward healing. Thanks for watching Breakup, Cheater. If this story hit home, drop a comment, share your own experience, and don't forget to subscribe for more real stories of heartbreak and justice. Until next time, trust carefully.